Now, it is better not to go over there because everyone is getting their share from it. Then if you try to have your share also, then your share will be so less. So first of all, as a startup, as a as a new venture, you have to understand the problem, the depth of the problem, whether it is okay with solving it or not. Okay, if you find that yes, it is okay to solve, it can give me some mileage, it can generate some revenue, it can have some customer, fine. So for that, what needs to be done? You need to have a thorough market survey. Thorough market survey, not on the basis of Google, what Google is telling. By yourself, you have to do a market survey, the demography study, the market segmentation. You have to understand who are the people for whom you are working, what is their alternative, what alternative they were using, whether they have the paying capability or not. So all these things in detail, first and foremost, you have to do a survey. And survey, not less than the sample size is 500. Sample size means, if I talk a very blunt language, then you have to take minimum interview of 500 people to get a fair chance of understanding that, okay, if it's a real problem and really people want to solve this. Okay, so this type of problem called problem worth solving. Otherwise, lot many problems are there and lot many people are behind that. There's no benefit to go over there. Then the first and foremost mantra. Second thing is creating a value proposition. What is a value proposition? Value proposition means nothing but what extra benefit you are providing to your customer. That's it. That A and B, both the companies are there, but company A is not doing well in the market. B is a new company, but doing excellent in the market. Why? Because definitely there are something which is really solving the people's problem and has able to touch the pain point of the customer. Because until and unless you can touch the pain point of a customer, it's very difficult to create a solution and to give a good value proposition to the customer. So creating a value proposition, understanding the product, understanding the pain points, understanding what exactly customer want to do. These things are very essential to understand as a startup. Once these two parts are completed, now the third part is coming, which is the MVP, which is the minimum viable product. What is this MVP and what are the things it should cover? See, MVP, all we know, MVP means minimum viable product, and it's not a full baked cake, but it's a cake. Now, once you decorate, it will be a full product. Okay. So during your MVP, this is again very important, that conducting a very good interview by yourself. Okay. Because now there are two stages. First stage was you identified 500 people, say for example, and you went for a interview, and out of 500, you saw 300 people. They said, yes, this is a very big problem and we want a solution of this problem. Now, once the MVP is done with the minimum basic features, you are in the market again and you are again interacting with those 300 people who told that, yes, this is a product we want. So you are again back to those 300 people and again asking them what are the things you want apart from that, because these are the bare minimum things we can show you. Then once that MVP is done, once you get the response from the MVP, minimum more than 80%, if you're going for 300 people, at least 200, 240, 50 people, if they say, yes, that this is a good thing, we need something else, so you can build up your product there. Then once the product is there, then you have to develop a channel or a strategy that through which channel, whether you should go through social media or local level marketing, or maybe the emailer, or maybe any sort of other thing, any other marketing ways you will reach to the customer. So these are just a couple of dots I wanted to tell you, that problem and solution fit will cover all this part also. Okay, so that's separate. Now it's a basket. Now the second part is your product market fit. What is product market fit? Because if I look at the previous part, my MVP is done, my channel, my strategy, my business strategy, almost it's done, and I'm ready with my product. Now, before you go to the market, once the MVP is done, and again, once rework is done with the MVP, now it's a serious thing because now you're going to the market. So before you go to the market, you need to have a thorough competition analysis, because there should not be any lacuna, any gap in that validation. So you have to have a very good analysis of your competitors, not only the direct competitor, your indirect competitor also, because sometimes indirect competitors can be your direct competitor if they do some product diversification and all. So competition and validation is very, very required. And again, look back to your value proposition. Just for an example, you all know that still Amazon is a startup. We can say Amazon is a startup because every day they are working, they are changing every day. So similarly, if you want to be a successful entrepreneur or successful venture, then every day you have to do the value proposition. Every day you have to add something new, which is good for the customer. So not only your MVP, after the MVP is done, you make a product, but competition analysis has to be done, your validation has to be done, and the value proposition has to be done in a proper way. Now, once the validation is over, once that all those things are over, now before we go to the market, definitely we have to fix up the pricing and all, product pricing, and not only product pricing, before product pricing, how the product, how a company is landing with a product with a price. Okay. So a lot many things are there, lot many components are there. Okay, like customer acquisition cost is there, churn rate is there, burn rate is there. So you have to calculate all the financial things. Once you get a fair idea that this should be the landing price, then you can have a landing price. So now you are having the landing price of your product. You know who is your competitor. You have validated it. Now you're almost ready with your product. After the product is ready, after this much, you have to have a plan B, which we call growth hacking technology. Okay, growth hacking means nothing. Say just for an example, if you are having a product which is used for motion sickness, which eradicates motion sickness problem. So who can be my growth hacking partner? Definitely motion sickness is a problem for the travelers. So they will be using a product. So normally maybe we can say the medicine shop is my consumer, medicine shop is my customer. Consumers are those the frequent travelers this way. But definitely we can think as a growth hacker, the very big travel agents, they can also be part of my growth hacking strategy, because if we allow them also to sell my product, so ultimately the sale of my product will increase. I will generate more revenue, etc., etc. Okay. So growth hacking technique is also important. After that, two very basic things, but two very important things. One is a lean canvas, or lean methodology we say, and the financial planning and pitching to the investors. So lean methodology is nothing, but it's a win-win situation. And it's a business model sort of a thing. Earlier we used to say business model canvas. Now we say it's a lean methodology of Ash Maria. We talk or tell you it's a lean canvas. Why it's lean canvas? The reason being very simple. Here the approach is a little bit different. The approach is find out the problem, whether it's worth solving or not. If it's worth solving, let us make a MVP, go ahead with the validation. If it is fine, then maybe you can start working for your niche customer, niche market, but start working on that. Fine. That is called lean canvas. Rather than waiting. And after that, once you wait in West Bengal, maybe in Tamil Nadu, someone has had the product and it's already done. It's already gone. That's why lean canvas and lean methodology is now well regarded worldwide. After the financial planning, in the financial planning, you have different parts starting from profit and loss to till 1 year planning. So that is also important. And finally, the pitching, because we all believe pitching to the investor is very, very important. So pitching means nothing, but the entire journey, you have to elaborate with your product and service and what are the reason you want to raise money. Try to remember one thing. If you are in a pitching event and want to raise funds, definitely you should not go ahead and tell we want to do marketing, we want to purchase so many things. It's not like that. Pitching is required. Pitching will be done only when you do the market diversification or product diversification. These are the best two ways where funders can fund you. Rest of the monetary part has to be taken care by the venture itself or by the members of the venture. Okay, so that is not required actually. I mean, financial partners and those who are angel investors or venture capitalists, they usually do not pay much of importance onto that rather than business diversification and product diversification, or maybe purchasing of a big equipment which can enhance your business 10x time. So these are a couple of thoughts, and I just wanted to connect all the gaps between problem and solution fit and product and market fit. So right now I'm sharing my screen. If anyone is having any doubt, please feel free to tell me. Anyone, any doubt?
Hello.
Yes.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good
First of all, I'd like to thank you, sir. This was quite insightful that you just told us about the venture and everything about. My question here is that, sir, entrepreneurship is the passion of solving real world problems, right?
Right.
And but deep down, we know that we should have a revenue model to monetize our product. But sir, it's clearly evident that if money gets involved somehow in the process, then the system gets corrupted. And it's clearly evident. It's the flow of the world. And if the money gets involved in the sole purpose of solving a problem is lost, no, then the company targets at exploiting the customer, making the most out of it, making the most money out of it, rather than solving a problem that the customer are more worried towards. So could you just brief us about that?
Okay. So Rehan, if I have understood your question correctly, there are two parts. Okay. So, and both the parties involved with the money and definitely the escalation of the company. So my suggestion to you is, we can, the entire world knows, and we also, we are sure about it. See, entrepreneurship is definitely, it's related to money, because if you want to have any sort of venture without money, nothing is possible. Starting from your trade license to such extent, it's required. But the smart entrepreneur is he who can raise the funds from the public itself, okay, take some time, build up the product and sell it into the market. So that's the best way at this moment. Apart from that, Rehan, let me tell you, couple of investment agencies, couple of small ticket agencies are there. Those who used to do fund for the college startup, you can say, for the first generation entrepreneur, without any sort of financial involvement at the beginning. And later on, once the company starts running on its own, they charge a little bit of interest from them. So these are the two things I can write at this moment, I can share with you.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much. So one more question.
Right.
Sir, what according to you is the best investment in the initial stages or bootstrapping the business? Because lately we were asked to create a venture for the entrepreneurship and that, and the question was there, how are you planning to raise money in the initial stages? So there's some students. Yes, sir. That's what I wanted to ask. Should we bootstrap or should we go for investment in the initial stages? Because in the initial stages, if we go for investment, then we'll have to keep higher equities at lower prices. That's where we lose the game.
Absolutely. Very good question. And it's, what to say, very important also to understand. So, first of all, Rehan, my answer is, first, you require bootstrapping. Okay. Because at the very beginning, if you go for funding, okay, be it equity funding, be it investment from the angel investor, be it banking, if it's a bankable idea. But from the beginning, if you have an extra load for loan and repayment of loan, then it's a very big problem. You will not be able to channelize your energy through other part. So my suggestion to all the startups, First, you have to have your own fund and bootstrap it. Bootstrap and go ahead. And after that, maybe once you are in a at least positive growth stage, once you have crossed the break-even point, start thinking of raising some funds. And the best part of bootstrapping, let me tell you, as because you're very young, so bootstrapping can be done in a different way. Say, for example, as a startup, a 4-member team or 5-member teams are there. So once they are decided, once they have started the business, now if I want a big office, big infrastructure, lot many things, lot many staffs, and etc., etc., it's a totally wrong way of approach. Startup should be, very, very restricted. I mean, 2 or 3 members, and 2 or 3 members has to do everything, starting from marketing, selling, okay, calls, emailers, everything should be done by you people. Otherwise, if the capital investment increases, if the monthly expenses increases, then it's very difficult. And ultimately, you, at a position, you will burn all of your cash. So that's a very big, devastation for any startup. So my suggestion, go for a bootstrapping first, and then according to the progress, you can check the other opportunities.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
Sir, I have a question.
Yeah,
this is Shomi Roy from first year. So marketing is a very important aspect when we start a business. So a big question that arises every time we think of starting a business is how much to invest in marketing. Like, it's a huge thing. We can invest as much as our entire capital is, or we can invest almost nothing. So what would you say is the optimal way to invest in marketing?
Okay, good question, Shami. So there are 2 ways of thinking. If you are a startup, my suggestion would be try to leverage all the free channels and all the free offerings if it's a startup. If it's a beyond startup, 0 to 5 years old company, try to leverage all the social media channels, maybe out of that, or out of the entire gamut of social media. According to your business, maybe you can think about 1 or 2 social media where you can do some paid marketing sort of a thing. That's the idea.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Next.
Thank you so much. Sir, there is one question from my side. My name is Shaurya. So I have owned a couple of startups in the past, and I also closed a few because I didn't think the
very good.
The market strategy was very, very nice. There was too much competition, especially one in the educational sector. So, sir, I wanted to ask a simple question that what is crowdfunding? Can you please explain how good crowdfunding can be?
So crowdfunding, crowdfunding was very popular a couple of years back. So basically, crowdfunding was used for hardware marketing. Okay, not for any other general thing. Crowdfunding is like 5 or 10 people accumulated together. They pump in some fund in some agencies, and from that part, your money is being channelized. Okay, that's a crowdfunding. But right at this moment, crowdfunding is not in a very good shape. So especially for hardware related ventures, crowdfunding was very famous at one point of time.
Thank you so much, sir, for answering this question. So there's one more question from my side. That what are the steps of reviving like few of my startups? They are seasonal startups. Like when COVID is there, when there is lockdown, I can flourish my startups. When there is no lockdown, my startup and all the growth rate becomes very, very low. So how to channelize both the offline and the online one together, like especially in the education sector?
Okay, so basically in education sector, suppose you have a edtech venture. So sometimes we are going offline, sometimes we are going online, but you have to identify such a area which is very generic in irrespective of the situation. Say for, it's a gross thinking. Say for example, if I look at any situation, be it post-COVID or be it pre-COVID, doubt clearing for any edtech service is a very big challenge. Doubt clearing classes, and that also in a vernacular language. So maybe you can try with this type of thing. Doubt clearing classes will be taken in a vernacular your languages, maybe once or twice in a week according to the subject. You can try that.
Okay.
Secondly, like the workbook sort of a thing. Okay. Majorly in our West Bengal Board of Secondary Education and Higher Secondary Education, there are very few workbook sort of things are there, which is a very good for practice. So you can introduce some of the workbook sort of a thing which students can download and they can practice in vernacular language. So you can try one or two these type of things.
I will surely try the session, sir. And one last question from my side, that when do we know that it is our correct time to go for the seed funding or start approaching the investors, the angel investors or the venture capital firms to get funding? What is the right moment that we know it is the correct time?
Okay, good question for all of you. See, the right moment is when you have large number of customer, large number of paying customer already in hand, and you can foresee or you have sheer shot another large chunk of customer is waiting for your product or service, but due to maybe your production unit is not capable enough to produce more product or something, in that sort of situation, you can surely approach to the angel investor. Even let me tell you, there are a couple of banks who also give you fund against the invoice. Say, for example, if any one of you, I don't know, maybe somebody from this cohort are related to hardcore product. Okay, so you have made 10,000 product and you don't have the capability to go ahead more, but you got a repeat order from the same organization within very short span of time. What to do? You don't have any money. You haven't got the bill also. So against the invoice, you can take a bank loan. There are some SME, there are some banks, those who fund for SMEs also, so you can approach to them also. So this is the way you can raise some of the funds.
Thank you so much, sir. I will hand forward the session to Somi and Rehan.
So I have received a question in the chat box.
Mm-hmm.
Is Shark Tank really portraying the entrepreneurial world in the right way? They portray as if startups are all about raising money. Is it really right?
Let me tell you, Shark Tank, Indian Shark Tank, which is there in the TV right now, it's happening. First of all, if you look at each and every venture, all of them are beyond a certain limit. Okay, they are not at all very raw startup. They all have their product. They all have their some amount of customers, some amount of revenue already they have generated. Okay, so once you generate revenue, once you have the customer, and definitely, as I said, if you have demand in the market, definitely that is the right way to go ahead. Otherwise, what will happen? You will be deeply demotivated. Okay, so that's why, that's the reason. This is a very logical session that before you go for funding, before you go for pitching your idea, you have to connect all these dots. And several times you have to understand that whether I'm in a right track or a wrong track. Okay, so if you're on a right track, definitely you will be having a good amount of monetary benefit. You'll be having good number of customers. So definitely you can approach, because wherever you go for funding, people will see first how much money you have invested from your pocket, how much money your venture has pumped into the existing business. Then only somebody is going to fund you. Without you funding in your own venture, generating fund is a little bit difficult.
Thank you, sir. There's a question from my side.
Yeah.
So how can wrong prototyping or creating a prototype that hasn't been tested properly affect while it is given to the public?
Right. Very good question. Again, I answered it at the beginning. So my answer to this question is very simple. The sample size, the number of interviews should not be less than 500. If you interview 500 people, if you can collect the interview results, and if you analyze that interview result, and accordingly, if you can make the prototype, and once the prototyping is done, again you validate with those people, then I think the risk is less and you can have a better success.
Thank you, sir. One last question from my side.
Please.
So, how, like, nowadays social media has increased the marketing domain to a great extent. So, what do you think? Is it going to be more beneficial for a company to focus more on social media or the regular billboards and hiring like the best Bollywood actors for their like
Okay. Good question.
random
Again, got it. So again, your question, I mean, two part, the other answer of this question is having two answers for two part. One is, see, some businesses are established business. Okay, like say for Pepsi, Coke, okay. Then other products also. Those were established long back in the market and they don't mind paying crores of money to the Bollywood actor, actress, or taking a big billboard in the Excite mode or something in front of Haldiram. Okay. But the majority of the ventures are small ventures, SMEs. Those who contribute maximum to the GDP. Okay, that also you have to understand. And for them, definitely they won't, this is not possible by them to spend so much of amount of money. Okay. So definitely there is no harm doing social media, promotion through social media. But only thing is, you have to understand that what type of venture I'm having and what social media I'm targeting. If I'm having an edtech business and I'm targeting Twitter, that's not going to give me a proper result. If I'm having an edtech business, I can go for LinkedIn. Okay. Even I can try for Facebook. If I'm having some manufacturing business, maybe it's a cupcake business, maybe it's a fashion jewelry, or maybe something else. Better, I should go for a YouTube channel. Okay, that way. So basically, both are required. Even if you look at the big companies also, they're also not less than any small companies. They're also using small, I mean, in a equally well, the social media channels. Okay. So social media is required, but for the big companies, they have the options, but for the startup, there are restrictions, but slowly they can also proceed into that way. That's my thought.
Thank you, sir. So I guess Samir Anand is raising.
Samir Anand, sir, I just want to introduce with you, sir. He's our first year student. He has their own business. Today you are asking for one startup. Those are established startup. So he has the one established startup. So you can just Shamir, just introduce yourself.
Hello, sir.
Shamir.
I'm audible.
Yeah, you're audible.
Oh, hello, sir. So, sir, I'm Samir Anand, and I have my own digital branding and news and personality website that is named as Red On News. So, sir, from the last 3 years, I have started this business that is website creating, website handling, and providing many services like domains, hostings, and all of this. In today's times, I am managing more than 50 plus websites in India, and in which I have working for many other sites like Daily Hunt, G5, and many others. And my own website is Red On News, which is now India's #1 personality website. And I have other #1 website that is PM Ki Yojana. And beside this, I am on my digital branding company. But my question is that like I am the stage of just 18 years. So I have many ideas. I have many ideas to do. Like I want to start a product-based marketing. I want to publish my own magazine of Red On News. I have many ideas, but at the point when I get that, how can I do that? Because I'm the single person.
Good question. Good question. So my answer is very simple. Use the bird in hand principle. Okay. Bird in hand principle means you go ahead within your limits. Okay. So if you can do so many things, I understand you can do so many things, but you have to understand your limitations also and your skill set also. So according to that, you have to cut short your journey for the beginning. And as a startup, the best way is concentrate on one thing for 0 to 3 years or 0 to 5 years. Once that thing is established, then you can focus on some other. But at the beginning, my suggestion is focus only one venture, which is giving you better result, better revenue, better customer. Once that is set up, go ahead with other venture.
Okay, sir. One more question.
Yeah.
So, like I'm providing a service like paid articles and something like that, featuring the personalities, celebrities. But at the moment, some competitors who is doing same thing, but in the less revenue. So he and that company attracts more customer than me. But actual the fact is that he is doing the fake branding. Like I am doing the real work. But as we know, in today's time, customers will go to that company who is providing something in the very least cost. So how can we tackle from that competitors who is competing but from a fake way?
Okay. So the very correct thing is, see, as a startup, definitely for the time being, you may lose one or two customers, not more than that, because customers are uneducated. Okay. Once, the moment we go for purchasing something, we might not have the knowledge of a particular product. So definitely we rely on the salesman or maybe the brand of the company, and how this relation builds up. The relation builds up, once we are using the same product or people are using vividly the same product. Okay. So it might take some time, but don't worry, don't lose your heart. Definitely those 4 or 5 customers, those who have gone to the fake person, as you said, definitely they will return within very short span of time. That's my observation, and that's my experience also, I can say.
Yes, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
So, sir, we have a question in the chat box by Vaibhav Patel. He's asking, for a venture, what are the following ways to get fund, or what are the procedure of getting those funds?
See, it's a very, it's an open-ended question. So fund depends on different things. First and foremost is the team composition. Okay. Second is how much money you have pumped in from your own pocket. Okay. Thirdly, what's the future prospect and future enhancement of this particular product or service. So, especially these 3-4 things are very, very crucial to raise funds.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. I guess we have a question from Rehan. Rehan, you can unmute.
Yes, sir, I have one more question, if you could answer.
Go ahead, please.
Sir, I just wanted to ask you that you're very much aware how nowadays founders and co-founders are losing control over the company. We've seen how Apple fired Steve Jobs, being the founder of the company, and it's in the rumor that Ashni Grover is also going to be fired when he's a co-founder of the company. He has somewhere around 8.76% of shares of the company. So my question is that, sir, how to keep your position secure? Like, is that something that we should be aware of in the early stages? Is there something that protects us from these type of things? Because at the end of the day, we are the creators of the company, and we could be fired anytime by the panel or by the board. So is there any way to protect ourselves from that? Yes.
So that's the reason, Rehan, while forming the company, okay, you have to take a very good help of a very good company lawyer, company secretary. Okay. There are many ways to float your company, like one-person company is there, LLP is there, private limited company is there. So definitely, if you can take a good help of a good lawyer, company secretary lawyer, he or she can guide you that what sort of company you can float and where the risk is minimum. This is the first thing. Second thing is, when you select CEO, CTO, all these C positions, okay. So that's why we call it forming a team A. Team A means where you are working since 5 years, since 6 years all together, you are building the company, okay. But during this period, you have to understand each other's wavelength, mental wavelength. If you find at the very beginning that any misfit of wavelength is there, you should immediately turn around. Otherwise, in long run, it will give you a problem. But rather than doing so, my suggestion, go for a legal way, so that if it happens also, it's not harming the entire structure of the company. That's my suggestion, Rehan.
Vaibhav want to ask one question. Vaibhav, please proceed.
Yes, I am Vaibhav of second year. Sir, actually, we are working on a project. So we want to launch that project. But I have a question that, sir, if we launch that project and if we have a project of students and teachers platforms, so just like an academy, Byju's, if that big platforms will copy our features and copy our products, services, then what we can do, if they are the big companies, they can easily grab the market and we can't do anything. So how we can tackle that?
The best option is, Vaibhav, I don't know the demography. The best option is try to search up, try to search an area, demography, do a proper demography study where these type of giants are not there, because you are also offering online, yes or no? So if you're offering online, there is no restriction. So try to have a proper survey that what are the area, what are the virgin area where you can go ahead with your business. So start in a small way. Maybe that is a niche. We call it niche customer, niche market. Okay, go for the niche market, go for the new market. And maybe it's a small, maybe you have got only 500 students at the beginning, but that's the best way to take it forward.
Okay, sir.
Okay, before someone, do some questions, I would like to tell you very interesting, exciting news. Today, I was just discussing with your college management that I believe the students, first year students, those who are here, or maybe senior students also, you know that Vadhwani Foundation is closely working with IEM and UEM. Okay, so we have continued supporting and service to the students. So we have lot of courses also, those who are running globally with your college. So this year onwards, Vadhwani Foundation is coming up with their own incubation, with their own support system, with their own funding and everything. And the captive crowds are those who are really started their venture, but want to do the escalation that way. Second, those who are confirmed that we are not going to go for a job, we will be doing a startup. Okay. And those who are having strong, product and MVP, but not yet guided properly, and you have not been able to go ahead. Okay. So Vadhwani Foundation is coming with this value proposition for some limited colleges. So definitely IEM is one of them. 17th of February, we have a meeting. We have a meeting with your college authority at 3 p.m. So after that, we want to meet some of the promising startup, those who have already started generating revenue or having customers, or maybe not having revenue, but having a product or service, that sort of thing. So please note down the timing, 17th around 4:30. Divakar sir knows it very well. So you can enlist your name, your venture name and contact IDs so that Divakar sir and me can share you the invitation so that you can come and you can talk, and we can also understand that your needs and all. Okay, so that announcement I wanted to do here only because I thought this is the right podium to tell you that we are not only now limited only on course, but we are coming up in a big global way so that these college startups can be the unicorn of tomorrow. Okay, so that announcement I wanted to do.
Thank you so much for such an opportunity. We all would be very, very delighted and looking forward to get help and incubation from the Vadhwani Foundation.
Thank you.
So I guess there is no other question. Let me see, sir. Yes, sir. There was one more question from my side. That it was about market research. So,
Okay.
so how important do you think market research is important for a service-based company, not for a product-based company?
Okay, very important. Market research. See, market research is the continuous process. Okay, and along with market research, I would rather say that research and feedback. Okay, both the things should go hand in hand because market research means maybe you can research, maybe you can think about your competitors also. From the research data, it comes that your competitor is doing so, competitor is doing that. But not only that, you have to regularly take the feedback of your customer, how they want, what are the things they want, what are the scopes of you to enhance your service. So market research is very, very essential, and along with that, the interview part, validation part. I mean, all those things should never come into end. I mean, it should be periodical or it should be tri-monthly, whatever you say. Okay, so it's very important. It's a backbone, you can say, for any venture.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I guess it's time for the felicitation part of this session. So Adnan, are you there?
Yes, Zunaid Bhaiya will be presenting his screen.
Okay, fine.
Yes, thank you, sir, for this, for clearing all the doubts of the students. And now we will be moving to the felicitation part. I would like to call upon Professor Ranveer, sir, to felicitate our speaker. And here I will be sharing my screen.
So I hope I am audible, right?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Yes.
So sorry, I could not switch on my video. I am facing some issue with my video. That's why
just
I
a
am
minute.
connected with two
Okay,
devices.
Understood, sir.
Is the certificate visible?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's visible. And obviously, it's my pleasure to felicitate Shubhabrata sir. We have a long collaboration,
Right.
and the students, you will see how we are working for you with this with Wadani Foundation. As your this entrepreneurship course go on, you will see. Okay, so it is the certificate for sir. So this certificate is awarded to Shubhabrata Bhattacharya for being the invited speaker in the Innovation and Entrepreneurship Workshop, a series of 6 sessions organized by Institute's Innovation Council, Institute of Engineering and Management, Kolkata, on 2nd February 2022. So thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir.
And we hope we will again means you will give us more such kind of session. I think Divakar sir will surely organize more.
Of course, and as I said today, like we are coming with a big way. So I believe there are many students in your institute, those who can be benefited out of our new approach.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes, so that what Shubhabrata sir mentioned, that the some established startup who are interested can give me or Ranavir sir the names, the venture name, your name, me or Ranavir sir. Okay.
Correct.
I may not be available for some days, so you can contact Ranavir sir also.
No problem.
Probis sir is also there. Sir, you want to share something?
To Shubhabrata sir, and it's always been nice listening to him. So it's a really very good session and informative session, and we'll looking for the opportunity and general meeting on 17th, and hope that will be a new revolution or a very hopeful thing for both Wadani Foundation as well as for IEM EVM Group. I'm just looking at that particular date on 17th for that meeting. So thank you, Shubhabrata sir.
Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you all, my professors and students. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. And with this, we shall conclude this session. And I've also shared the attendance link for all the participants over here, so that you don't miss the certification. So, you can leave.
Thank you.
The session is over. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So all the participants, you are requested to please fill up the attendance form, and then you can.
I request everyone to switch on their cameras for a screenshot.
Yes, please. Yes, Praveen sir, you were telling something.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's okay. It's done. Everyone fill up the attendance link and you may leave.